Hey guys, enough said. Meet the Simmons back with another video. Today we got a video from the Unqualified AF podcast. Came across them on Instagram. This lady is talking about a really good point. I think we should break it down. Here we go.
And when a man is rude to wait staff, if they're just like either short or curt or not like proper, like just hey, please, thank you, hey, do you mind, hey, when you have a second. I don't like entitlement at all. I think there's a difference between like masculinity and taking a certain level of control versus just being downright rude or nasty. Like if they have so much gripe or they're angry at everybody but themselves, I don't like that.
Both sides, that's a red flag. Because that showed me that if I was in that position, that's how you would treat me.
You know, I think it's time to have a conversation. There's been a lot of conversations about masculinity and what it is and what it shouldn't be and how it is. And the truth is that most people talking about it don't know what it is. They haven't really seen it, and they're not well versed, and they haven't allowed themselves to be taught or been taught how to be men, how to be masculine men. And I'll speak to the male side, and you can speak to the female side too, because there's a side of that also we can discuss. What she's talking about here is she's talking about a jerk. There's very characteristic traits that define a masculine man, in my opinion. Masculine men are kind.
Yeah.
They're helpful. They make everyone around them better.
Yeah.
If you ever been in the presence of a man that is well rooted in his masculinity, and a woman can attest to this, it makes everything better. Like the problem solving is there. Yes. You know, the protection is there. You know, the resources, the provision, that's there. The stability. You know, we get so caught up in how much money you make and how well good your body looks and how good you smell and how good your sex is, and that those things are great, but really what separates a good masculine man from the rest of men is how he treats the world around him, how he makes the world a better, safer place. That's really what it's about.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of these conversations tend to leave that out of it.
Yeah.
And that's a really, really bad thing.
Yeah.
Now, we understand and know that there's good and bad to everything. There's toxic femininity, there's toxic masculinity, there's all these words we throw around, misogynistic, misandrist, all this stuff like that. But the truth is that a man that knows who he is, those words roll off his back. I've been called a misogynist. I've been called all this kind of stuff. Like, I'm none of those things.
No.
I'm none of those things. I have done the work to become the man I am, and I'm very proud of that. And I think that my goal in life is always that if anybody I come in contact with, to leave that person better than they were.
Yeah.
Whether it's a waiter, whether it's somebody on the street, whether it's somebody I hold the door before, whether it's my wife or my children, my goal is always to leave them better than I came. So I think that she's onto something here. I think a lot of these men weren't really raised around really solid men, and they're trying to find their way. And like, men have the microphone right now. Like, we kind of snatched the mic like Kanye. And like, we haven't, especially if you're in a black community, like we haven't had the microphone for a very long time. I think a lot of these guys just really don't know, and they're trying to figure out. But you got to read, you got to get around positive dudes, you got to work on yourself. Because if you think being this elusive, mean, very quiet and stoic and unapproachable man is masculinity, that's not what it is. A masculine man is just highly approachable, and he's somebody that you actually want to be around. Yeah.
So
what do you think?
So we actually saw this in action last night as we went out on our little date night. Oh, yeah, share. We went out on our date night last night to a steakhouse, and we actually saw this in action. So there was a couple there. It was a man and a woman, and they were in some sort of relationship. Couldn't tell if they were married or not, but they were definitely in an intimate relationship just based on their body language. And so the gentleman got upset because he found a piece of plastic in his shrimp.
Or what he said was
plastic.
plastic.
What he said was plastic. We didn't see anything. We're over there trying to mind our business. Not really. Anyway.
Yeah. You were being nosy. Go ahead. It's okay.
Anyway. Cut that out. Anyway. Anyway, so he's trying to, he gets the waitress's attention, and he's like, there's a piece of plastic in my, I found a piece of plastic in my shrimp. And she's like, oh, okay, well, maybe it's parsley. And he was like, oh, I know what parsley looks like. And he just goes off on this tangent about it not being parsley and it's plastic. And he's like complaining. He overreacts. To your point about masculinity, a masculine man is a problem solver. You weren't solving a problem in that situation, sir. You were creating one, and you were quiet in your emotions. And then, of course, his girl's all like, yeah, she said parsley. That wasn't parsley. I find that typically when a man is being a jerk, he's actually not in his masculine. He's actually exuding some feminine traits. So I know you may feel like you're being, I'm a tough guy, I'm a machismo. No, you actually are exuding some feminine traits. And to a woman, to a feminine woman, that's actually repulsive.
Yeah, other men see that too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very obvious this young man was lost.
Yeah.
In just by the way he reacted. And a lot of you guys saying, well, it was plastic in his food. He should. Well, here's the way. There's a way. This man was considerably younger than me. Probably in his late 20s, early 30s, if that. Mm-hmm. For me, it's simple.
How would you have handled that?
It's simple. Hey, waiter, waitress, say, I found this in my food here. It appears to be plastic. What do you think? Oh my goodness. Oh, it looks like parsley. No, it didn't feel like parsley in my mouth. It felt very hard and rigid. Oh, okay. Well, how do you want to handle this, sir, ma'am? And then let them handle it. It's that serious. I don't have to get all out the way. I didn't die. I'm not gonna die. It's okay. It's inconvenient, and nobody likes that, and you shouldn't have to put up with that.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't have to pay for that because that's not what you came there for. But you don't have to be rude and pejorative either. Mm-hmm. There's a way. It's called decorum and etiquette, and a lot of you young men don't have that. Because you haven't been taught it and you're scared to admit you don't know.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is you need to find you a mentor, find an older gentleman that has his stuff together and at least is trying. Read books. But you're not getting what you need and you're not getting the results, and you wonder why you don't get the results you want. It's because it's a character issue. It has nothing to do, it's got nothing to do with anybody oppressing you or holding you down. It has everything to do with character. And character is built, guys. It ain't something that you're born with. It just isn't.
Yeah. And to the point of this short that we watched, or the reel that we watched, it's a good idea actually when you're dating to actually go around other people. Maybe it's a group of your friends or a group of family, whatever, just so you can see how do they treat other people, because that's going to be a big tell on how they're going to treat you one-on-one. So pay attention to those flags. Y'all keep running past them red flags and they waving at you like, hey, woo, over here, pay attention.
And that's exactly like and the young man in the video, he said it's the same thing for the other side.
Yeah, both sides.
Yeah. You have a woman that cannot control her emotions, who's always looking for a fight, always looking for something to throw at you, always looking for some reason to blow up the spot. And we've seen this. We've seen this with people in our family. We've seen it like like if everything's going great, they can't have that. They can't have. Everybody cannot get along. I have to blow up the spot. That is a sign of a person that's got some serious emotional issues and they need help. But the thing is that as a man, you're not, unless you're a psychotherapist, you don't need to be trying to work it out with her. Send her on her way. Because that is a red flag. But some of y'all, sex good, she got a nice body, she this is pretty, all that stuff gonna fade. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna be left dealing with the remnants of what's left behind when all that beauty fades and it's just her and you dealing with all that nastiness, then you're gonna wish you had dealt with it.
Yep.
But I thought this was a great video.
Yeah, very good video. And one last thought. Go ahead and pick up Unapologetically Masculine, Masculinity Without Toxicity for more information on what masculinity actually looks like. And this guy wrote it, so it's a great read.
And with that, that's enough said.